Assalamu alaikum everyone. In the last session, we have discussed. Welcome to the third session and our fifth lecture. In the last session, we have actually discussed the topic sentences, how to write the main idea of a paragraph. Where do we place the topic sentence? How to narrow down your topic sentence? How to be specific, and at what place you should place the topic sentence in the paragraph. Apart from that, in the another session or another lecture, we discussed the basics or the characteristics of writing skills. We referred to the 7 C's of communication, and with specific reference to integrating those in your writing skills in different types of writing. So now that you have understood the basics of writing skills and topic sentences, how to formulate the main ideas of a sentence, it is time to see that how do we support topic sentences? Is referring to a main idea within a paragraph fine, or is it complete, or does it need something to support, some support? So if you just refer to an idea without supporting it with relevant cogent argument, either by referring to some of the examples or referring to statistics or facts, or giving some details, so until unless you do that, your main point has no substance. Your main point has no importance, right? So you need to do that. You need to prove your point and write a well-written and a coherent paragraph. So how to organize your paragraph, how to write topic sentences, and support those sentences using a variety of supporting argument is something that we are going to discuss in this session of today. So in the first 40 session, I'll refer to 4 main types of supporting arguments that are commonly used, and in the next session, we will elaborate it and go to the next level. So let's first discuss what topic sentences, supporting details or supporting sentences actually are, and what do they do? What is their role? Okay, right. Supporting topic sentences. Basically, supporting sentences within a paragraph develop the main idea that you have presented in your topic sentence. ठीक है, तो अगर कोई भी टॉपिक है और आप उसके बारे में आपने एक पहले पैराग्राफ में उसमें एक स्टैंस अपना मेंशन किया है, फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने लास्ट क्लास में भी एग्जांपल दी थी, और ये मैंने बताया था आप लोगों को, तो ये अक्सर एग्जांपल जो है मैंने 2-3 दफा दी हुई है, तो मैं आपको दोबारा से बोलती हूँ कि फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं पहले पैराग्राफ में ये बात लिख रही हूँ कि दैट द कोर रीजन ऑफ बुलिंग is the neglect, is parental neglect, or young high school students turn into a bully because of parental guidance or neglect or something like that. So this is my main idea, but then I need to elaborate. How will I support my point? So this is what a topic sentence does, that it is your main idea, and basically supporting sentence support your main idea. So without giving the relevant detail, I can just not randomly say that, okay, parental negligence or parental lack of guidance is the reason that people turn out to bully. I need to expand on that why or how does parental negligence or lack of parental supervision leads high school students to become a bully. So, maybe they are unable to give time to their kids and talk about the basic, or inculcate in them the basic human values, and excuse me, and this is the reason that they turn out to be bully. So whatever it is, whatever I believe that this is what I mean by my main point is something that I have to explicitly mention and support my main topic or topic sentence with. Also, always remember that while you're writing supporting sentences, you must not begin a new topic or introduce a new idea. For example, in the first 2 line of the of a paragraph, you have mentioned the stance or the first main idea that you would like to present, and all of a sudden, instead of explaining that main idea, you jump to another main idea or another topic sentence. So this is something that you deliberately have to avoid doing. For instance, my topic is a quality school education, and my first, and I have to write what do I understand by quality school education, or what are the elements that are there in a quality school education. And my first idea, or the idea that I have referred to in the first paragraph, is that a quality school education is highly or inextricably linked with well qualified faculty and trained faculty members. Now, this is my main idea. Now I am going to talk about how does having a better or professional faculty member or teachers help provide quality school education, right? So this is something that I'll be talking about. इट्स नॉट लाइक कि मैं ये पहला पॉइंट अपना रीजन बताऊंगी एंड ऑल ऑफ अ सडन मैं जंप कर जाऊंगी कि अच्छा और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का भी कोई रोल होता है. नो, until unless I support my previous main idea by telling that why do I think that good teachers or good faculty members or trained professional teachers add to the quality school education, I cannot move to another point. I must not move to another point because that reflects a very incoherent style of writing. So you need to learn to write coherently. It does not mean that if it's an essay and you are supposed to talk about different elements that add to quality school education, and you spend the entire essay talking about teachers. No, obviously you must know that to what extent can I spend the space on one idea. And at least if it's a 5-paragraph essay, you need to include 3 main ideas, right? So how much space you spend or give to one idea, and how you support that idea, and what kind of examples or details you include, is something that is that depends on your on you, that how you plan that. So be very careful about that. Okay, now let's talk about developing supporting sentences. So there are basically many ways in which you can develop and clarify a topic sentence, add to the overall meaning of a topic sentence. In this session, and most of the time, we actually include these 4 types of supporting details. So you could either use examples in order to support your excuse me, in order to support your main point. You can refer to several examples that that are linked to the main topic of or your topic sentence, or you can give details. You can elaborate on the main idea that you have just referred to, or you can refer to an anecdote. What is anecdote? We'll talk about it. Stories, basically. And 4th is facts and or statistics. So these are the main ways through which you can support your topic sentences. So let's look at each of them in greater detail. Okay, so basically what do I mean by example? We all know what examples are. Example is a specific instinct that explains an idea. So we all know that what examples are, but within writing, if you are using example as a supporting idea or as a supporting detail, then you are basically going to refer to the specific instance that would help you elaborate upon that very idea. Okay, so let's look at the model paragraph. It's a paragraph that is related to the historical origin of words. I'm sorry, here is the picture which has been hidden okay, because of this window. So I'll just read it aloud so that you know, and you can assess what are the examples and how examples in this paragraph have been used as the relevant supporting material or details. Some of the most interesting words in English are the actual names of the people first involved in the activities conveyed by the meaning of the words. So this is my topic sentence. I am talking about how some of the most interesting words became the part of of the English lexicon, and one of the ways that the interesting names become the part of English lexicon was that those names were derived from the activities that were conducted by the people for the first time. So this was how some names were initiated in English language, if you look at the origin or etymology of the words. The word boycott, for instance, derives from the case of Sir Charles Boycott, a land agent in Ireland who was ostracized by his tenants because he refused to lower the rents. Quisling's name quickly became an infamous addition to the English language during World War II. He was a Norwegian politician who betrayed his country to the Nazis, and his name Quisling is now synonymous with traitor. So, okay. Perhaps a more common example, at least among young people around the world, is Levi's. These popular blue jeans are named after Levi Strauss, the man who first manufactured them in San Francisco in 1850. Perhaps most omnipresent of all is the sandwich, named for the fourth Earl of Sandwich, who created this quick, portable meal so that he would not have to leave the gambling table to eat. So some of the examples have been given here. Other words in this unique category include lynch. Basically, lynch. The origin of this word is quite obscure, but it probably initiated during American Revolution, and it comes from the lynch law for punishment without a trial. And similarly, we have Devonport. Devonport was the name of a series of sofas that were made in the by the Massachusetts furniture manufacturer, and the name of the person was A.H. Devonport, A.H. Devonport and Company. So it became very popular. So the name became a general trademark during that time. Similarly, we all know about Watt, that it was named after Scottish inventor James Watt. And Zeppelin is also, it's a type of rigid airship, and it was named after German inventor. So this paragraph was about how some of the common interesting name became the part of English language, and we looked at the origin of word. And so let's see what words have been used in the model paragraphs to introduce example. So if we go back, the first word was boycott. And how was this introduced? The word boycott, for instance. So this was how we elaborated on our topic sentence, that we gave first example and we introduced it by using the phrase for instance. And this is how most commonly we introduce any example in a paragraph. Similarly, after we were done with it, the other was Wigton Quisling's name quickly became an infamous addition. Here, we did not use any such phrase. The next question was, are these kinds of words always necessary to introduce examples? No. First, you introduce first example and you mention for instance, but the next example was directly mentioned. That, okay, Quisling's name was the second example, and then you refer to the third example of Levi's. So, and then you and it was specifically mentioned, perhaps a more common, at least among young people around the world, is Levi's. So, this is how you integrate examples in your paragraph so that readers are convinced or able to understand your main idea. Okay. Another example, let's quickly have a look at this one. In order to be considered a hero by his own and subsequent generations, a person must display extraordinary physical or intellectual powers. The physical hero, one who exhibits great strength to overcome monumental obstacles and emerge a victor, is found frequently in literature. So this is our main idea, that what is our definition or understanding of heroes, and we found such examples quite frequently in literature. Let's look at the examples now. Samson, although chained and bound, used his superhuman strength to destroy his enemies, the Philistines. Likewise, Dwight Eisenhower, a more contemporary physical hero, surmounted overwhelming odds to organize the successful Allied invasion of fortress Europe during the World War II. Our second heroic type is the intellectual one. So first we mentioned the first type and gave its example. Now here we are to the second type, that is intellectual hero. And let's look at the example. Admired for his mental prowess and the way he uses it to the benefits of humankind. Leonardo da Vinci, with his studies of architecture, human anatomy, and engineering, in addition to his great artistic achievement, belongs to this second type. So this is our first example for the second type, and we directly talked about Leonardo da Vinci and gave his example that why was he considered an intellectual hero. More recently, Albert Einstein, who not only made far-reaching contributions in the physical sciences but also worked diligently towards achieving world peace, illustrates the intellectual hero. So illustrates is also the word that is used for referring to example. So you understand how you can integrate example in your writing, and this is how examples can help you convince your reader of your point. Until unless you expand on your idea, the reader won't be unable to get what you're trying to convey, or the reader will not be convinced. So जब तक आप elaborate नहीं कर देते अपने idea पे, तब तक it doesn't have the substance that it needs. ठीक है? अच्छा जी, अब मैंने I just within this lecture or this PowerPoint slide specifically, I have just given some suggestions that how you can how you can practice on, or on what topic can you practice writing a paragraph that use examples as supporting details. So you can write a paragraph on one of the topics and you can use examples to support your argument. So great places to go. So you can generally talk about that. There are some great places to visit to in the Asian side or in the Asian continent. This is your main idea and the topic sentence. Now you are going to present several examples to present your to support your topic sentence, your main idea. Okay. Then another topic that you can write upon is important person in the history. So you can generally start writing that our history is full of heroes that have changed the world through their contributions, and then you refer to some of the several examples. Now जैसे हमने पिछले वाले एक एग्जाम्पल मॉडल पैराग्राफ में भी सॉ कि किस तरह से हमने हीरो को टू कैटेगरीज में वी डिवाइडेड देम इनटू टू कैटेगरीज लाइक फिजिकल एंड इंटेलेक्चुअल. सो इंपॉर्टेंट पर्सन इन द हिस्ट्री, you can also first divide your topic to culture wise or region wise, that okay, in these two main cultures these were the famous historical figures, and then either you can list examples for each of that region or each of that culture, or you can simply say that you could keep it general, that history is full of people who have contributed, and then you can list down examples. So it's up to you. So these are two topics that you can write on for your self practice. Okay, now the second type of supporting detail are basically details, supporting materials, or supporting a way of supporting your topic sentences by referring to the additional detail about your main idea. So a detail is a particular part or characteristics of a whole thing or a whole idea, and details are very frequently used for a writing that is more descriptive in nature. So a model paragraph details: landlords usually require a renter to sign a very complicated contract called a lease. It stipulates the length of time the person must stay in the apartment and the amount of rent he must pay. So in the first line of the paragraph, we are talking about a complicated contract which is known as lease. Now we are referring to the additional detail that will help us convey to the readers that what do we mean by complicated contract which is known as lease, and what does it do. We need to tell them more about this contract. So first, it stipulates the length of time the person must stay in the apartment and the amount of rent he or she must pay. It can limit the number of people that are allowed to live in the apartment and restrict the renter from having pets. So it depends on the landlord, landlady or landlord, whatever conditions they want to include. A lease may prohibit the renter from subletting and include a provision by which subletting and include a provision by which he is charged a certain amount of money if he breaks the contract. So that is also something that the contract consists of. So you see numbers of detail. One, what does it do related to the length. Number two, limiting the number of people. Then including certain conditions, or keeping a certain amount of money for protecting the property. The agreement also includes the responsibility of the landlord, such as providing adequate heat, garbage removal, and exterior maintenance of the apartment building. Now, here in itself, it this idea, the agreement also includes the responsibilities of the landlord. Now, this is again the expansion on the agreement, and here, such as, now, how is landlords supposed to fulfill their responsibility? Such as, here it is elaborated through examples. So within this one paragraph, though the main idea was to tell you about how to incorporate details, one example of referring to examples was also there. So you understand, I hope you're getting my point, that what I'm trying to convey, right? तो अगर आपका कोई point है इसमें, जैसे था कि एक लीज अग्रीमेंट के बारे में हम राइटर बात कर रहे हैं, तो राइटर expanded upon the idea. Okay. Now again, you can these are some of the examples that you can use to practice constructing paragraphs incorporating details as the main supporting argument. So you can write a paragraph on any one of the following topic. First, you can write a topic sentence that clearly state or limit your topic and then support it. For example, my friend. So you can choose one aspect of your friend that you would like to cover. My friend is an amazing individual or an amazing human being because he or she has some extraordinary, I would say, or my friend is very efficient because they possess amazing people skill. Right? So this is my specific idea because of which I like my friend, or I want to talk about my friend, and then I'll tell that, okay, what do I mean by people skill? What does she or he do? So this is how you're going to describe or include details about your friends. The other example could be making a delicious sandwich. So obviously this is a recipe. You are going to tell about making something which includes several details, so you can give proper details and expand on your main idea, right? So I hope you understand. तो details किस तरह से incorporate करनी है? Please remember that how you are going to incorporate detail in your writing. This is very important for you to understand how to do that. Otherwise, अच्छा, यहाँ पे details में एक और चीज जो मैं बताना चाहूंगी कि please details का मतलब ये नहीं है कि you incorporate irrelevant or less important or not significant detail, because it's a paragraph. You have limited word limit, you have limited space. That only refer to detail that adds to the overall meaning to your writing, or that gives substance to your writing. ठीक है? Okay. So now let's look at third type of supporting materials or detail, anecdote. An anecdote is a short, entertaining account of some happening. So it's a story, and it's usually personal, and you can also see it or view it as a lengthy example. But you refer to the specific event, the specific instance that you would like to quote. So now integrating a story in your writing, when you have to consider the word limit and also make sure that you do not deviate from the main topic of discussion, can be comparatively more challenging, right? So please be very careful while referring to a story, because it is not as easy as it seems. It can be challenging, and there is a lot of probability that you might deviate from the main topic of discussion. So be very careful about that. So see, let's look at an example. A film director's style is usually personal and recognizable, but every rule has its exception. Not long ago, I was in a theater watching Roman Polanski's Macbeth. Suddenly, the action slowed considerably. A frightening red circle began moving outward from the center of the screen, engulfing first the actors and finally the entire scene. I was sitting on the edge of my seat, waiting for the next horror, which never came. It was not Polanski's terrifying style after all, but a fire in the film project. So, what I was talking about, I was talking that a film director's style is, mostly it's personal. It's very specific to that personal director. it's recognizable. So the way you watch, you know that, okay, this is the director's style, but every rule has its exception. But this is something that does not always happen. There can be exception. And then I told a story that some time ago or long ago, I was in a theater and I was watching Polanski's Macbeth, and what happened. So that was an entire scene that I referred to in order to support what I meant. ठीक है, तो अब इसमें you see how beautifully this paragraph was written, and with the information that was needed, as much information as it was required to support the main idea. तो इसमें कोई extra over जो है ना डिटेल्स नहीं थी, बहुत ज्यादा एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं थी, इस तरह से नहीं थी कि जो एक्चुअल आइडिया है वो कहीं मिस हो गया हो. तो अगर आप पर्सनल इवेंट को, पर्सनल स्टोरी को, या किसी कल्चरल स्टोरी को, या स्टोरी ऑफ एनी अदर पर्सन आप रेफर कर रहे हैं, so please make sure that you stick to the main point and the story is relevant and connected to the main idea. Do not just include stories for the sake of integrating story, and for the sake of just because you think that it will make your writing more interesting. Integrating story in an incorrect manner can basically result in generating confusion about your main topic of discussion. So be very careful about how you write a story. Okay, now again, some of the tips or some of the topics for self-practice. These are the topics that you can, it does not take much of a time when you just sit and, write a paragraph. It would hardly take 20 to 25 minutes, and you have a whole week for that, because you have a session once a week. So whenever you have time, and so sit and you can just randomly practice on this topic, and every time you just in your notebook you practice for writing a paragraph, use a different type of supporting material so that you know each of them, how to use each of them effectively. So you can use an anecdote to support any of the following topic. A person's life can sometimes change overnight. So this is again a very interesting topic, and there are several things in life that happen that can change someone's life for either good or bad. So you can begin, from a sort of a philosophical statement maybe, or from a general idea that, sometimes something unpredictable happen, and all of a sudden your life is never the same again. And once you have said that, you can tell a story, maybe about your own personal life, that how a specific event, a single event that just happened all of a sudden changed your life. And or you can in this scenario, in these days, this year specifically, every one of us, everyone's life changed in one way or another, and something so unpredictable happened that none of us could have anticipated the last year. So we never thought that something like COVID-19 or a pandemic would happen in 2020 and in this time, and our life would be changed for so long, and maybe it's never going to be the same again. So you can refer to that event as well, that how your personal life changed, or how the life of everyone around you changed, or how the world changed in general. You all are also maintaining a personal journal, and you're writing about your life every day. I hope you're doing that. And I asked you that write about how your perspectives, or how your life, or how your routine has changed after this pandemic. So maybe you can make it more personal, or you can talk about how things have changed in your country, or how everything has changed in the world. Okay, or the second topic could be computers create more problems than they solve. This is yet another topic for your self practice. You can talk about any story or event, or your personal story when computer basically created a problem for you. It could be a funny story as well. It just embarrassed you. Something happened because of this technology, and that you had to suffer. It could be either in a funny way, or it was something really serious. So it's up to you. So these are two example. You don't need to do everything that I'm telling you, but I have done this for your convenience, that you can choose any of the topic and just write randomly in your notebook about that. And once you practice, or every day you can just randomly choose one topic throughout the week, and before sleeping or after you're done with all the other things, you can just practice. And when you keep on doing this, you notice a significant improvement in your writing by the end of that specific time. So please try to take out some time for writing. Again, third example, third topic could be not knowing a language can sometimes be embarrassing. So again, this can be a very interesting stories for the readers to read. Okay, or simply because this topic is very interesting, this type of supporting material. So I just chose 4 topics that you can choose. You know who your real friends are when you have a problem. So you can write the topic sentence that a lot of time we trust our friends or rely so much on our friend circle, but it's only during the hard times or difficult times in your life that you realize who your real friends are. Not long ago, I used to have you know a huge friend circle, but then after this happened in my life, I realized that only one person was my true friend, or something like that. You can refer to a story that when you realize that when you had a problem and you realize that this person is your friend or this person is not your friend, so you can refer to that. Let's look at the last type of supporting detail or supporting material that you can integrate in your writing, and that are facts and statistics. This is very commonly used in argumentative sort of writing, and especially when the topics are more factual or demand factual or factual information. So a fact is something which is objectively verifiable. So if it's a topic that needs to be supported with relevant fact, you cannot just simply get away saying that I believe in this or it's my opinion, right? So because your opinion wouldn't be wouldn't have that substance until unless you refer to an expert's opinion or something which is more reliable. Or what is a statistic? It's a numerical fact which represents significant information about a given subject. So you can either refer to any statistical information that was the result of a research conducted on that specific area. You can refer to the research conducted by an expert in that field. So this is how facts and statistics are incorporated. Okay, so let's look at the model paragraph. Okay. The term population explosion is usually applied to the rapid growth of the last 3 centuries. So during the last 3 centuries, this term became popular when this paragraph was written. In the 200 years from 1650 to 1850, world population doubled and reached its first billion. So you're referring to a fact. In the next 80 years, it doubled again, and by 1975, it had doubled once more to a total of 4 billion. By the year 2000, it is estimated that it will exceed 6 billion and possibly approach 7 billions unless there is a major reduction in birth rates or a major increase in death rates. So you see, this is something that I've chosen from a book, this paragraph. So it referred to how this term population explosion became popular after the rapid growth of population, and then the writer referred to some of the specific example facts and statistics. Okay, yet another example for your better understanding. Exams apparently have a marked effect on the blood pressure of the students taking them. So now you people would be thinking, okay, so it impacts us in this way, so we should not have exam. So in a recent study, it was shown that the average student's blood pressure rose from 115/55 before the exam to 155 and 115. So at the end of the exam, 10 minutes after the examination period had ended, the students' blood pressures were still quite high, averaging 150/110. So again, what is the type of fact that you have used in this paragraph? You have referred to a research study. So this was the result of the research study. You cannot just randomly say that, okay, my blood pressure gets lower whenever I have to sit for an exam, because that wouldn't do. So you refer to the recent study. So this is how you can incorporate facts and statistics. Okay. For facts, you can write, or statistics you can write about animal rights. You can actually talk that does animal have any right in Pakistan or all across the world, and you, or either you can make a comparison between animal rights in Pakistan or other countries, and you can refer to the laws, or the steps that have been taken in other countries to ensure that animal rights are protected. Or you can talk about what contributions do immigrants make to the economy of the country where they immigrate to. So for this topic, obviously you cannot do without referring to facts. So you're going to tell that in which countries there were more immigrants in the last year, and how has their economy changed. Did immigrants brought with them some significant economic benefits to the country? What was their role in the economic progress of a country? So this is something that you can talk about. Okay, so these were the two examples that you can write if you want to practice writing, incorporating facts and statistics in your paragraph. So basically in this session, we specifically discussed what is a topic sentence, how does a topic sentence adds meaning in a paragraph or adds to the paragraph. Then we talked about 4 different types of supporting details. Um, and then we analyzed model paragraphs for each of the type of supporting sentences to understand how to formulate supporting sentences, and also we discussed some of the topics that can be used for your self practice. So I hope that the ideas are now clear, and you now understand how to incorporate, you now understand not only what topics supporting sentences actually are, but how you can incorporate supporting sentences or supporting arguments in a way that your paragraph is a coherent piece of writing, and you just does not write a paragraph that consists of haphazard haphazard ideas that are not organized at all. So the references. So I hope that you have understood this topic, and in the next session we are going to elaborate on supporting sentences or supporting topic sentences. Thank you very much. See you in the next session.